All right, today we're looking at the models associated with the urinary system. Let's just get our bearings here for a moment. So here we have the inferior vena cava in blue, and here we have the abdominal aorta in red. Okay, and they're actually showing you some of those lovely vessels that we looked at associated with the digestive system. This is representing the celiac trunk here. There's not much of it there. You can see just a very short stump. This one would be the superior mesenteric artery here. And then this is the inferior mesenteric artery. Okay. You can also see that there are some large vessels here on each side going to the kidneys. These are the renal vessels. Okay, so we have the renal artery on each side. Okay, and then we have the renal vein on each side. Okay, so oxygenated blood would be going to the kidney through the renal artery. Lots of processing inside the kidney, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And then the deoxygenated and cleaner blood would be leaving the kidney through the renal vein. And this indentation on the kidney where these vessels are attached is the hilum. Okay. The kidney is covered by an external shell called the fibrous capsule, and we're processing the blood to create the urine in the kidney. Any urine that we produce is going to be sent out eventually to the renal pelvis, which this white is representing here. And then from the renal pelvis, the urine will move through this structure represented by this tube, which is the ureter. And the wall of the ureter has smooth muscle in it, so it'll use peristalsis to move the urine along. That's why your bladder can fill even if you're not vertical and even when you're in space. And then all of the urine is going to be sent to the urinary bladder, which is here. And we can see that that's just posterior to the pubic symphysis, and you can see the two pubic bones meeting here anterior to the urinary bladder. Okay, I'm going to turn the model around. And as we turn it around, we can actually see that this is a male representation because we have the prostate gland here, we have the ductus deferens here, and we have the seminal vesicles here as well. Okay, so we're going to open up the urinary bladder. And when we open it up, you can see that the internal surface is folded. And we didn't talk about this in the lab, but it has the folds have the same name as in the stomach. They're the rugae. Okay. And then you can see there's kind of this area with all these lines. This is the trigone of the bladder, the urinary bladder. Okay. And then this pink tube here going through the prostate is the urethra. Specifically, this would be the prostatic urethra, since it's passing through the prostate gland. Okay, and the urethra is much longer in the male than in the female because it has to go all the way through the penis. In the female, it really just has to go through the urogenital diaphragm, so it's only a couple of centimeters long. That's why it's much more common for women to get urinary tract infections than it is for men. Okay, so let's switch over to this mega kidney model that we have here. Okay, and we have the fibrous capsule again as the dark covering. Okay, and some of the internal or some of the external portion of the kidney's been cut away so we can see the internal anatomy. The layer of tissue just deep to the fibrous capsule is the cortex. And if we put all of these structures here in the deeper layer together, that would make up the medulla of the kidney. Now in the medulla we have the pyramids. You can see several cut pyramids here, and then you can see an intact pyramid here, part of one here, and part of one's here as well. Okay? And also in the medulla we have the renal columns. So here's a renal column here. Here's a renal column here. Okay? Most of the nephrons, which we'll look at in a few minutes, these are the structures that actually interact with the blood to produce the urine, are going to be in the cortex. Okay, there's a very small subset that have loops of Henle that go deep down into the medulla. These are going to be located more in these areas where you have the renal columns. Okay, so we're producing the urine as these nephrons interact with the blood. Okay, and you can see the little cortical radiate arteries coming out here into the cortex. These are branches of the arcuate arteries, which you can see here between the medulla and the cortex. Okay, so we have the oxygen-rich but dirty blood coming through these vessels to the cortex. The nephrons interact with that and produce the urine. And then the urine is going to be dripping down through the pyramids, because the pyramids are composed of lots and lots of tiny tubules. Okay, so if you remember those collecting ducts that we've been talking about in lecture, they're going to be here in these structures. Okay, so the collecting ducts are going to be carrying the urine, and eventually we're going to get to the tip of the pyramid, and the tip of the pyramid has a lot of little openings in it. Okay, and so if you look in at this model, you'll see on the tip of the pyramid there's little dots, and those are representing the openings of those collecting ducts. So all of the urine that's dripping through these collecting ducts is going to emerge here into this little structure. Okay, and this structure that's surrounding the tip of the pyramid and catching all of this urine is the minor calyx. Okay, so there's a minor calyx here. There's another one here. Okay, and students get confused about this. A calyx is a tube, so it has to have walls and it has to have a space. Okay, so I'm often asked, is it the tube or the space? And the answer is it's both. Okay, so the tube is basically the walls of the structure, and then the space is where the urine collects. Okay, so a minor calyx here, a minor calyx here. There's another big one right here that's not cut open. A couple more up here that are not cut open. Okay, now several minor calyces will meet at a place called a major calyx. Okay, so right here would be a major calyx, because you can see you'd have urine coming from this pyramid, from one over here, one back in here. Okay, so it's all dripping into this common area. And again, we have the walls of the tube and the space, the lumen. Okay, so that would be a major calyx. Okay, and then all the major calyces will dump into the renal pelvis. Okay, and then the renal pelvis will lead to the ureter. We can also see the renal artery, the renal vein, and if we turn it around, you can see the indentation of the hilum very nicely here. Okay, it's also common for the artery to have branches as we're getting into the hilum, so that's normal to see those branches. Okay.